You're listening to The Play Pouch. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We are, this episode, talking about the masterful GTA 5. And I'm joined by my resident renegade, Nick, and also the master of horror, Alan Priest. Alan, how you doing, pal?
I'm very good, thank you very much.
Hold on a sec, Pete. Hold on. Announce Alan properly. The sex appeal of the show.
Yeah.
The sex appeal of the show, Mr. Alan Priest.
The throbbing trombone in his pants.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But okay.
So yes, we are going to be talking about GTA 5. We're going to give it a little bit of review. We're going to be talking about GTA 6, the news that there will be a trailer coming next month and what we feel about that. But before we do, if you like our casts, give us a subscribe, slap the notification bell, tickle the thumbs up, and so let's just dive right in. Now, GTA 5, since release, has sold a staggering 140 million units and has made $7.7 billion. I repeat that, $7.7 billion since its release. It broke industry sales records and became the fastest selling entertainment product in history, earning 800 million on its first fucking day and 1 billion within 3 days. The single-player story follows three protagonists: retired bank robber Michael DeSanta, street gangster Franklin Clinton, and drug dealer and gun runner and general nutcase Trevor Phillips.
Oh, man.
And their attempts to commit heists whilst under pressure from a corrupt government agency and powerful criminals. Open-world design lets players freely roam San Andreas' open countryside and the fictional city of Los Santos, based on Los Angeles. Now, yeah, I remember being really excited about this game. I went to the midnight release with my brother in what was the game store in our local town. Were you there, Al? I can't remember.
I wasn't there for the No. I got the game pretty much on day of release because Rockstar got this thing where I know some places will actually let you have the game early.
Yeah,
but there's a deal. I think Rockstar have got. They say no one's allowed to have this game until day of release.
Yeah, as if that happened.
So I ordered it online and I got it on the day.
Did you get it on the day, Nick?
I imagine I got it delivered on the day. I didn't queue up for like you did, Pete. And these game stores, I mean, they're myths and legends, aren't they now? What's a game store?
Well, yeah. I mean, like I did enjoy midnight openings, but I guess that was the last great one for me.
Yeah, no, I got it delivered. I mean, I only shop online nowadays for stuff like games because of the prices, man. But yeah, no, it was a long time ago as well. I mean, that game is survived like 2 or 3 console generations, bro.
Yeah, it's still going strong thanks to its online element.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll tell you what. I didn't complete it. I've not completed this game.
Really?
Yeah, I've not actually technically seen the end of it either.
Why not? Did you just lose interest?
Yeah, kind of.
Mm.
And it was just literally just because I didn't like any of the characters much, and I don't know, something just didn't sit right. I prefer GTA 4. I know it's like a real shocking statement for me to make, but yeah, I didn't mind the whole sort of, the heists element and, robbing, stuff like that. I thought the story was a bit ambiguous, didn't feel like it knew what it was doing. And that's kind of, that's the basics of it. How about you guys?
Go ahead, Nick.
I see. I'm coming from it completely opposite to you, Pete, because I really enjoyed the GTA 3 and the San Andreas. San Andreas is probably still my favourite one, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I didn't like number 4, not only because of the annoying phone stuff, which did play a role.
Nico!
I played a decent amount of it, but I can't tell you why. It's a typical thing where sometimes another game just grabs your attention whilst you're playing something else, and it's just the way it is. Another game came out and just grabbed my attention. So GTA 4 obviously didn't do a particularly good job of retaining my attention.
Mm.
But number 5 came out, and I did get into that. Like I did finish it. I played it and then finished it.
Right.
I did like the way they handled the three characters, although I do agree with you that two of the three characters didn't interest me, and because of his chaotic nature, I did find myself attracted in a way to the psycho character whose name is just what's his name, Pete? You said it a second ago.
Trevor Phillips.
Trevor. Yeah, Trevor. Good old Trevor. Yeah, and so that when he entered, I found Michael to be a bit of a cliche. I found Michael to be a bit of a cliche. The retired gangster doesn't want to be in it. I found that a little bit of a cliche. But that's why I think they made him for that reason. Do you know what I mean? He was a cliche character. Franklin, I didn't mind, but it was a little bit kind of rags to riches, kind of like kid from the ghetto, kid from the streets kind of thing, like the whole Compton thing, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's based on. But I did enjoy Trevor, mainly because I think with Trevor, there was no really beating around the bush with him. He wasn't trying to be a good guy per se. He didn't really have stuff like regret, stuff like that. He had a very, very ambiguous moral code. And
If there was one.
If there was one. And I suppose we've spoken about, Pete, you and me have about in our mental health episode about like how the GTA games kind of let off steam, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I admit that I would do. If I was having a bad day in real life, I'd go to GTA. But the thing is, I would never choose to play as Michael or Franklin because it didn't feel right.
Yeah.
I went to play as Trevor, and everything I did as Trevor, all the bad things that you can do in the game, it felt like he would do those things.
Felt
I
good.
don't know what that says about me as a person. I don't know, but I suppose his character was just pure chaos. To quote Event Horizon, Alan, pure chaos.
Chaos.
Pure
Yeah, he was
evil.
just pure chaos, pure evil, pure chaos. So yeah, I did like Trevor. The other two, not so much, mate. That's where I'm coming at it. I like one of the three characters. So
Yeah. Alon?
Yeah, I agree. I think Trevor's character is probably more interesting.
Yeah.
The fact that the first time you see Trevor after the prologue sequence, where where their job goes kind of wrong, and then it fast forwards, and Michael Townley is like being put under witness protection, and obviously he does this heist, and then Trevor sees it on the news thing, news broadcast. There's a line Michael drops that gives him away, and Trevor's basically killing one of the characters from the GTA 4 DLC.
the biker, isn't it?
The bikers, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He's actually killing one of them in the honest, because he's like, he's what's he doing? He's shagging her, isn't he? Shagging the girl in his caravan,
Yeah.
his motorhome.
Yeah.
And from that point on, you knew he was a loose cannon. And the fact that you do these little rampage things, or you can just go into complete psycho mode, pull this gun out, and then just wreck people all around you. You've got to kill so many targets in a certain amount of time. And it's not just bikers you do other drug dealers, because obviously Trevor's got a bit of a drug deal thing going on. He's got a meth lab, hasn't he, going?
Yeah, and Alan, he had all those side quests with the flying the plane and having to do the drugs, dropping off the drugs.
That's it. Yeah, the old drug drops. Yeah,
just great. I just really had a lot of fun with him.
Yeah. And even the strangers he comes across. I mean, I said before, the ones I like is Nigel and Mrs. Thornhill. The old British couple who basically go around looking for celebrity stuff. And Trevor's the one who starts that quest. He's just driving through the Beverly Hills section, if you like, and he comes across these two old people going through someone's bin. So they give Trevor, he goes, here's a map. These are the places I want you to go and basically pick up celebrity things, where it's on dirty underwear or whatever they're after. And
I'm surprised he didn't do something horrible to them, to be quite honest with you.
Oh, but, he saves that for when he does the cultist quests. Alan, you know the ones I'm on about, don't you?
Well, the ones you drop people off at the cultist quest.
Yeah, now that's some evil. That's some evil shit.
Yeah, you pick up like a drunk couple, don't you?
Or you just pick up, or hitchhikers. You just pick them up and then you drive them to this cultist place where they get eaten, isn't it? They're cannibals. Is that right?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's hinted that they're cannibals. Yeah. And,
I never knew that.
No, you just take them there and they pay you money.
You get rewards for it, Pete. And in the end, after the end of the side quest is you drop the last person off, and then they decide they're going to eat you as well, and you end up just killing them all.
Jesus Christ!
And that's the side quest. You take innocent people there, and it's really sometimes it can be really kind of Like you feel like you do actually feel really bad. Like there's one or two. Like I think there's like this one girl, and she's not drunk. She's just naive, and she's like getting scared. And she's like, "Where are you taking me? Where are you taking me?" And he's lying to her, saying, "Oh, we're on the right path." And it's actually quite unnerving because they end up nobody lives. They all get eaten basically, and then you kill them all in the end. So
fuck's sake.
he doesn't kill them all because he feels sorry. He only kills them all because they're about to eat him as well. That's the only reason he kills them.
Yeah, I mean, like, so this game is no stranger to controversy. There's a mission called By the Book, which requires players to use torture equipment in a hostage interrogation,
Yeah.
and it's kind of noted for its political sort of commentary on the use of torture by the US.
That's right. Yeah.
But a lot of critics felt like it was in poor taste and stuff, and it's kind of divided a lot of people. I personally was quite uncomfortable with it the first couple of times, and then when I did it on my brother's game, I was just like, whatever, just like but it is horrible, and I guess that was the point. So I was kind of mostly uncomfortable. What about Munich?
Not for the character. Like, okay, so I mean, yeah, it wasn't a particularly nice scene per se, but it is what Trevor would do.
Yeah.
That doesn't particularly justify it, but the reason why I guess I'm okay with it because, I mean, Trevor's a psychopath and he's not being portrayed as anything more than a psychopath. So why would he not do it? He would do it. Why would he not enjoy it? He would enjoy it. I'm not saying it makes it right or wrong, but I mean,
Yeah.
remember that you're playing a game in which you're inclined to steal cars and cause mayhem and basically make everybody's life a living hell. So yes, it's all done behind a kind of a wink wink of parody, which it is, and that's kind of really, I suppose, how they kind of get away with it because it is a parody in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But I was okay with it being there because it made sense for the character to do so. I wasn't horrified by it, but I also didn't take anything. I wasn't like, oh my god, by it. You know, we all know that torture happens.
Yeah.
We know it does. There's no like, you know, and anyone who thinks it doesn't is I'm afraid, is a bit naive. Of course it happens, especially at wartime. Of course it does. And you're not going to tell me that no country does it. Every country does it. They're not going to come out. Every country does it. Come on.
I would assume they did, and I would be surprised if they actually didn't, put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, no, it's a video game with a psychopath character doing psychopath things. So on that basis, it's whatever, like you said.
Alan, were you shocked?
No, not really. It's the kind of thing I would expect from a GTA game, to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, didn't care. I just took it as part of as the character's methods. Really, you know, he was the one selected to do it in the end, and he done a good job.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's one of those things that was designed to be shocking, obviously, and for me it worked. But I guess it did its job really, and. I mean, like it's had other controversies with, like, you know, endless lawsuits and stuff. Oh, my son went out and committed mass murder because, you know, he put this game down and grabbed an AK-47 or something, and you know, it's just full with stuff like that. But I guess that just it exposes the game even more. It's like free advertising.
Pete, regarding one more thing on the torture scene, really, like I said, it's like because they picked the kind of over the top psychopath character, I actually think it lessened it. I think if they would have got the kid, Franklin, right, he's like the young. I'm not going to say. I suppose he's the most innocent of the three, if you can even use that terminology.
Well, he's the most naive in terms of the criminal underworld, isn't he?
If it would have been him doing it, I actually think it would have been more disturbing because he was kind of like I said, like you said, he was kind of the newcomer to it. Because it's Trevor who is blatantly insane, right, and he's not portrayed as anything more. It loses a little bit of its horror because he's such a kind of raging character that nothing he does you really can take seriously. You might say this is a small flaw of the game. Maybe he's a bit OTT.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's a bit over the top with stuff, so it's kind of like he becomes a little bit of a not a comedy character, a dark humor kind of character, and there is elements of that. So because he's got those kind of dark humor to him, some of the scenes he does, I think it loses a little bit of its like shocking value. It's like, okay, he's going to do that. Well, it's all kind of it's all a bit of a joke anyway. That is how I saw it. Maybe it's just my sense of humor. But
well, no, he was funny. I mean, like, when you switch out characters, you were always dreading
exactly
to go into Trevor to see what he was fucking up to.
and he'd do something, and he'd be in these stupid situations which you couldn't help but laugh at. So I think
he'd be wearing like a bra and knickers on the beach.
Exactly.
And,
yeah.
So stuff like that. Yeah. I mean,
so for me, it lessened the impact of that scene because it was Trevor involved. If it would have been Franklin, I think it would have been a more serious scene in my mind, and I think it would have been worse. But because it was Trevor, it was just like, okay. I mean, he's over the top anyway. So,
I mean, okay. So let's talk about the cultural impact of the game. I mean, like, as we've discussed, it's been out for quite a long time now, and it's still played by millions of people worldwide. It had a spike during the COVID pandemic, and it sort of sold like millions of copies during that period of time again, just because people wanted something to do.
Everyone was stuck at home, so they all played the online mode, bruv, innit?
Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, like, the cultural impact of it, of the whole title, was it's ingrained into people's, into society, into people's psyche, and all that kind of thing. Because we've said this before, that it mirrors society, doesn't it? And it sort of parodies it and comes up with all these sort of company names and stuff, which is just like,
it's a parody of Los Angeles, isn't it? They parody everything, Hollywood and all these kind of things. Celebrities, they parody a lot of celebrities, and even go as far as Alan. What's the name of the series of missions you do for like the is it like Scientology kind of rip-off stuff? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the Epsilon guys.
That's it. Yeah. They take the piss out of all that stuff as well, Pete. And some of that stuff's really funny.
Yeah.
They just take the piss out of all that. The good thing is that generally they take the piss out of most things. I'm trying to think if, they do take the piss out of religion a little bit. They take the piss out of society in lots of different ways. Even the kind of obviously, because Franklin obviously is a black character, and so they kind of go there a little bit as well regarding his life on the hood as well. They don't pull any punches, really, to be honest with you. I give them credit for it. They don't pull any punches.
Yeah, they do try to mirror a lot of cultural references as well, don't they?
Yeah.
So there's one element of the game which I've always kind of respected, and it's kept people guessing, even to this day, really. Which is there's a sort of conspiracy woven into the title, whereby there might be aliens in the mountain, and stuff like that, and people have spent hours upon hours trying to work out and uncover this sort of so-called conspiracy. I can't find a synonym for it, but only to sort of discover that there kind of really isn't one. And Rockstar just literally sort of led people down sort of dark alleyways with dead ends and stuff.
There's a series of side quests in GTA 5 regarding this kind of crazy kind of like tinfoil on his head kind of guy who thinks the government are trying to like get into his brain and stuff like that. And he's got missions about UFOs and stuff.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
They do kind of parody a little bit, don't they? With like the UFO and the Roswell stuff and all stuff like that. They kind of parody a little bit of that.
Well, that's the whole point of it, wasn't it? Is that people just sort of running down rabbit holes to find that there's nothing there. And I thought that was just a stroke of genius on Rockstar's part, to be quite honest. I appreciate it so much for what it is, and the technical achievement that it is, and I can't really fault it. I mean, like, just despite the fact that I didn't really like any of the characters or the storyline as such, and I just kind of thought it was.
What did you think? I mean, that's probably a good thing to talk about, the story. So, Pete, you've really didn't like the story. I know you said you didn't like the characters, but I mean the overall storyline. I guess you weren't really that engaged by it. I mean, you couldn't have been if you didn't even bother to finish it. That must be the truth, right?
Yeah, no, it didn't really hook me. I didn't really sort of understand or know in which direction it was going in. And yeah, I just kind of lost interest, as you said. I found something else to play, and that took over basically.
Was there a certain thing that happened in the story which kind of made you think, I'm going to jump off now? I think.
I didn't like the fact that there was three characters, three protagonists. I just wanted to focus on one of them,
Just
and I
one.
didn't. I felt like it took away quite a lot from the story just by like being ripped out into another person. I was just like, oh, I don't like this.
Did you not like? I mean, I liked this part regarding when you switched characters. I like the way they did that. The way they kind of the camera zoomed up, didn't it? So it's like to a satellite view, and
Oh,
then to hide the loading screen, it was just like they then like went across the city, and then the camera went down, and obviously
oh
it
yeah,
was loading it all as it was doing it.
it was done really well. Don't get me wrong, but I just felt like, well, I want to focus on one character. I want to get to know them, and I mean, like I guess if I had to pick a favorite out of all three, it would be Franklin, the black dude, because
He
I
was
wouldn't.
probably the most normal of the three, I'd probably say.
Yeah,
If you know what I mean by that, like I said, I called him innocent. I certainly wouldn't say he's innocent, but out of the three, he is. He's the most innocent of the three.
yeah,
How about you, Alan?
It reminded me of a lot like Heat in a way. I know one of the missions actually is pretty much ripped off from that movie.
yeah.
And the whole suits, masks, going into a bank with your satchels and whatnot. Yeah, I didn't mind the story. I thought the story was pretty solid.
What about the characters? Did you have a favorite, or did you not like any of
Oh yeah,
them?
Trevor. Trevor's my favorite.
Okay, so
Because
you're like,
I just liked his he had like a really sarcastic tone about him when he used to speak to. But one of the earlier missions when he's taken I think some Japanese guys to his meth lab
yeah,
to do a bit of business with him, and the way he's just over the top with them, oh this way, sir, and all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
He's just so over the top, and the way he talks to his subordinates as well.
Oh, he was
Yeah,
definitely a sarky bitch.
yeah.
Definitely.
I loved all his little all the little conversations he had
Yeah,
with his little subordinates. That was always fun.
There was multiple endings, believe it or not, and a lot of them had a lot of them to do with Trevor. Mainly in the majority of them, Michael and Franklin survived, but Trevor's fate was kind of you could kill him. Michael or Franklin could kill Trevor, and that was one of the endings. So Trevor didn't automatically just survive the game. So there was a little bit of a different endings. I mean, they didn't massively change stuff. Like I say, mainly it was just like, does Trevor live or die? Because Trevor obviously was the most evil of the three. I suppose that I don't know what you could even call the good ending. I'm not sure you really can say one was a good or a bad ending. It was just like, does Trevor
yeah,
live or not? Do you know what I mean? Do you think Trevor deserved to die? Did he deserve to die? Probably, because he's a menace. He was never going to be anything but, walks past somebody having a bad day, he'll shoot them, and that's what he was. As for the characters, though, I love Trevor.
yeah.
I loved him because I suppose, just personally, I can relate to that chaotic nature.
I think
Um,
he's everyone's dark side, sort of
yes,
like
yeah,
amalgamated together
yeah.
into one person. Yeah,
And like I say, if you're having a bad day in real life, most people in the old games would save their game and go on a rampage for half an hour. In this game, you go pick Trevor. You go pick Trevor, and then you be Trevor.
yeah,
You haven't got to play it up. You be what that character is, and that character is unstable. He's meant to be unstable, but he is unstable. So really, anything's fair game when you've got a character like that. So he was fun. He was fun.
yeah,
Sick bastard, but he never claimed to be anything other than that. And I think that's a little refreshing. Believe it. There was no pretense with him. You knew
yeah.
exactly what you were getting.
Definitely.
Did he deserve to die? Of course he deserved to die. People like that shouldn't be walking the streets. Of course not. That's obvious.
Yeah,
But as I said to you earlier, Pete, he was a little bit over the top, and I think he was designed that way. He was a little bit over the top on purpose. Maybe that kind of so when you were doing bad things of him, maybe it wasn't quite as bad because he was a little bit kind of a caricature, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? It was a little bit like unrealistic. It was like, yeah, okay.
Oh, it was definitely designed that way. Definitely.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think I would have liked the game anywhere near as much without that character. I mean, if you take that character out and you just had Franklin and Michael, I thought they were both a little dull, if I'm
Yeah.
honest.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about the online mode, Pete?
Well, you can do. I mean, like it's his own thing.
I don't know what it's like nowadays. I have to assume surely it can't be making as much, but I heard during its heyday that game was making $1 million a day.
I can believe that.
So with all those shark cards and all those things that I think they're still selling them even now. And I don't think it's as popular as it was because, come on, it's how many years old? But in its heyday, making $1 million a day, I mean,
It was
that's kind of
it
crazy.
was insane as an online game. You arrive on the online space and you just get gunned down immediately, or you get a drive by and stuff like that. You get blown up, and as soon as you come out of your apartment and stuff like that. I mean, it was crazy to the point where they had to sort of implement some things where, like, if you were
Friend or foe filter, wasn't it? So it's like to stop you from being killed right away.
yeah, like, you were a bad sport, then you go into a bad sport server and were bundled along with other bad sports and stuff like that. But I didn't dwell on it too much.
Did you play it a lot, guys? Alan, did you ever play it?
I played a little bit. I think I'd done a drug run for my uncle when he was playing it. God rest him. Yeah, but I've not really touched it. Otherwise, I think I'm like level 11 or something on there. It's the fact that you got people, just as Pete said, you just walking down the street and someone just runs you over, or they just shoot you. I think, I don't even know you. What are you doing?
Yeah, I was full of that.
So I just got to be bothered with it.
I got as far as getting a yacht.
You got a yacht? Okay, cool.
Yeah, a big ass yacht, and some other trinkets. But yeah,
I've seen people play it and they really get into it. Like they've got their own like posses and stuff like that. I've seen people really get into it. It's not my kind of thing because I prefer to do the co-op stuff. And in that game, it was kind of like, yeah, you could do co-op stuff, but as Alan said, you could also just as easily be walking down the street and getting killed, and that can be very frustrating.
Yeah.
I see one thing though that did bother me about, or the one thing that I wish the online game wasn't as popular as it was, because it's made Rockstar only care about it post-launch. It's made Rockstar not do any DLC single player. For every other game, they've done single player DLC, like GTA 4, right? This is the first time they've put no DLC into the single player. Every bit of aftercare, so to speak, has gone into the online mode. So,
well, they did the same for Red Dead 2. They brought
Red that wasn't good online either, because Red Dead 1 had Undead Nightmares. So I don't like the fact they did that for. That seems to be what they're going. And I assume that GTA 6 will be the same. So
probably.
I wish they did single player DLC for Red Dead 2 and for GTA 5, but they just focused on the online modes. And if your online mode's making $1 million a day, then I guess who am I to say not to?
Well, it did spawn a hell of a lot of sort of copycats. They sort of tried to do the same thing and have an online space like GTA did, and of course it wasn't as good. It wasn't nowhere near as good, and it kind of developed a trend almost. And that's what I kind of I didn't really like that, but I mean, like, the online mode is whatever. It's its own thing. I sort of neither love it or loathe it. It's people can take their frustrations out on it, and people get upset and lose their shit. There's plenty of videos on YouTube about that. But
it depends, Pete, how much. I haven't played it recently. How much anti-griefing is the keyword? How much of that is in the game, the online mode? I don't know how much of it is there. To stop stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've lost track of it. I mean, they have implemented some stuff, but I don't know, to be honest. But as far as final ratings go, I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10. It doesn't really deserve a 9 or a 10 for me, just because I didn't really like the characters or the story, but I loved the effort that went into it. The fact that it's completely bug free. I never came across one single bug, and it was so in depth, and there was a lot to do. I can't fault it. Alan, what's your rating?
Yeah, I'll also give it an 8.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the whole environment when you go from the bustling city of Los Angeles and you go right north to the sort of the desert area where Trevor resides.
Yeah.
It's a great little drive. I'll do that a couple of times. I'll drive from the city to the desert, back from the desert to the city again, causing trouble on the way. And again, the the cities and the towns are all populated with people who are just continuously doing things.
Yeah.
There's plenty to do, plenty of side quests. I say the strange and freak things are fantastic. It's fun to kind of fuck with the cultists. Yeah, glorious.
It was a good all-round fun game,
Yeah,
wasn't it? Yeah.
but not as good as Red Dead 2.
No.
Okay.
Red Dead 2 had that extra edge to it.
Yeah. Red Dead 2 was a masterpiece.
Yeah. So yeah, an 8 for me for GTA 5. I would have given it more, but the fact that they decide not to put any single player DLC in, like Nick says. I mean, imagine a DLC with Trevor.
Oh, that'd be great.
An 8-hour, DLC.
Yeah.
I'd pay for that. I think anyone would.
Yeah, well, definitely. Of course they would.
But the fact that they shelved everything into their online mode, it just loses points. Granted, okay, Red Dead's done the same, but
Yeah. Nick?
Yeah, I mean, I think using Alan's example of Red Dead Redemption 2, you've seen what Rockstar can do when they really, really want to when it comes to creating a great character and a great storyline. So, looking at that from the highs of Red Dead Redemption 2, the GTA 5 storyline is raw crap compared to it.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether to get. I might have to go a 7 or an 8. It's hard for me to say a 7 because just of the sheer quality and magnitude of their open world and the beauty of it and how much stuff there was to see. I guess I'll give it an 8, but it's on the low end of an 8 because I do think that the characters are quite. I like one of the 3 characters, which isn't a great ratio, really. It's 33%, so 1 out of 3. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. The online stuff for me is not made for me, so it is what it is. Like Alan says, there's no DLC for it, so got to question the replayability as well. The missions are fun, but it's the open world which makes it special.
Yeah.
I'll give it an 8. It's an 8, but like I say, Red Dead Redemption 2 knocks it for 6, really. I don't really think there's much of comparison, I mean...
Yeah, I agree.
If you're comparing it to Rockstar's best work, then I don't think it's that great. But if you're comparing it to other like open world and stuff, I mean, I don't think there's an open world. We've already talked about this before, Pete, that Rockstar do these things the best. And there probably is no better open world overall than GTA, most likely. So
yeah, of its kind, really.
Of its kind.
GTA style. So in case you've been living under a rock, Rockstar have announced that they're releasing a GTA 6 trailer next month. Now, I think this was a sort of a knee-jerk reaction initially to some leaked information that came out, I believe, via Reddit somewhere. An ex-member of Rockstar, I think it was, said that they're imminent on releasing info. So I am going out on a limb to say that it's going to be released around this time next year. I'll be shocked if it's anything earlier than that, because they have a sort of a history and a track record of bringing out info roughly a year before its actual release. And it's early next month in December, sort of 5th or 7th or something. I don't know exactly when. I'm looking forward to it. And based on the leaks that came out a few months back, a while ago, about the early development, yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the trailer again. How about you guys?
Based on the limited information we have, it looks like it's going to be 2 characters rather than 3.
Yeah.
And it looks like they might be going for a kind of Bonnie and Clyde type storyline ish. With these 2 both being, a boyfriend and girlfriend combo. I suppose if you've got 2 characters like that, they can avoid all the woke stuff to do with the ladies, which we know is so important nowadays, because they're going to add a bloke and a woman, so they'll probably both get equal time, so they can avoid any silliness that will come out of that. And as for putting a woman as the main character in this world, in the GTA world, it is the first of its kind.
Yeah,
it will be interesting to see how they do handle that, because I think I'm being honest and fair here when I say that majority of ladies in the GTA world generally have been hookers to a lesser extent, sex workers, stuff like that. I think there's a couple of characters who have been like the boss's daughter. Do you know what I mean? The boss's daughter or the boss's squeeze, stuff like that. It's that kind of game, you know?
Well, they've either been hard asses or, as you say, hookers.
There's been one or two. There was some like in Chinatown Wars. I think there's a lady in a bad guy lady in that one. But so it would be interesting to see how Rockstar does approach having a female protagonist and how she actually acts in that world, stuff like that. It'd be interesting. But I don't take the GTA stories, as I just kind of said about Rockstar. So the Red Dead Redemption games are serious. There's always little comedy elements, but they're serious stories. Both of them are serious stories. GTA is always a parody. There is a difference.
Yeah.
So the storyline for me in the GTA games it's nowhere near as important. So I look forward to it, but I'm not expecting it to be this masterpiece of a game. But it should be a lot of fun if they do the kind of Bonnie and Clyde stuff, or the Natural Born Killers. You've seen that film? Something like that?
I haven't actually seen it, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Juliette Lewis and Woody Harrelson in it.
Yeah.
Alan, you've seen it, haven't you?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, so that's what I think it's going to be a bit like. Yeah, they're both going to be kind of anti-hero kind of characters, probably both pieces of shit, to be honest with you. But they'll be in love and they'll be protecting each other. So it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, we haven't had any females that were snowflakes in any of the GTAs, have we? So
no, I doubt she'll be a snowflake.
Yeah. So yeah, Alan, looking forward to seeing the trailer.
Oh, we definitely, yeah. I always look forward to it. I remember the day I watched the GTA 5 trailer, and I thought this looks amazing.
Yeah,
can't wait to get my hands on it. And it'll be the same with this one. I'm hoping they'll give a window. They'll probably. I'm going to go on a limit. I'm going to say March 2025 because they don't tend to release their games later. In the year.
Yeah, you're right, Alan. You're right. Yeah, I think
they like to avoid the Christmas rush.
Yeah,
and that Black Friday kind of area, they like to avoid that. So they always bring it out in March, March, April time. So that's what I reckon. It's going to be fiscal 2024, if you like, which will end March 2025.
Yeah, about in the next 18 months. That's what I think as well.
Yeah. That's where they're going to announce that, I reckon.
Okay. Well, yeah, no, you might be right there. You might be right. Well,
I hope I'm not, because I want it now.
Well, yeah, you and about 300 million other people. So. Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up the episode for today. I hope you've enjoyed listening to our ramblings. If you liked the show, give us a sub, slap the notification bell, and tickle the thumbs up button. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you feel about the game. I'm assuming everyone loves it, but if you don't, especially give us a comment and let us know how you felt. But we're going to leave it there. So until next time, we'll see you on the next show. Say goodbye, peeps.
Take care.
Thanks for having me, and goodbye.
Cool. All right, man. See you guys later.